So you look like this, feet wide, knees knocking together, back all the way down on the mat. And you can do a little lift with the pelvis here, almost as if you're like pushing on your hips to lengthen the spine and then set it back down. You really want to try and feel your whole back on the ground here. Same with the shoulders. You can just give them a light press down away from the ears, and then allow them to relax down toward the mat. And then you can let the knees knock into each other. Allow the eyes to close. And then you can bring the palms together right in front of your chest, fingers pointing away, and start to rub the hands together, creating a little bit of friction. Once you feel that heat, you've got it building, bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Just take a moment here to check in. Where am I at physically, mentally, emotionally? What does my body need from the next 45 minutes? What does my mind need? Maybe to slow down, maybe to find movement, to find flow, to find energy and move through that energy. Come to settle on that little intention for yourself, whatever it is that brought you here. We're going to move into that 2-stage breath, so you can let go of all of your air out the mouth. Inhaling halfway into the belly. Second half of the inhale into the chest. Hold. Now exhale out of the chest and out of the belly. Inhaling through the nose, filling the belly, filling the chest. Hold. Exhale out the nose from the chest and the belly, maybe out the mouth. Inhale to fill the belly, the chest. Exhale the chest and the belly. Take that a few more times on your own. Remembering to hold once you're inflated all the way. And just feel that space that you've created inside. Maybe take one more round. And once you finish that last exhale, allow your breath to return to normal. Keeping the eyes closed, begin to gather the knees into the chest. And just Give yourself a little hug here. Feel the legs pressing against the arms pressing down against the legs. Slowly begin to open the eyes. And we'll find a little bit of a rock from side to side. Almost like you're massaging the lower back on the mat. And from here, let's circle the knees out and around, oiling up the hip joints. Depending on how you go about your day, this probably isn't a movement that you do very often just in normal life. So really find the full extension, and you can reverse the direction. Often when you do have any tension in your back or your lower back specifically, it's mostly coming from the legs, the hips, the hamstrings. We're going to focus a lot on opening up there today. You can keep the right leg with you and take the left leg long on the mat. Just bring the knee in as close to your chest as you can, while you focus on reaching all the way to the end of the mat with those left toes. Super straight and long with the left leg on the ground, like you can feel the weight of it pressing down into the floor. Shoulders relax. Maybe you roll out the ankle toward the right, reversing toward the left. And super gentle, just take that right leg across the body, bringing the knee to the ground, reaching along with the right arm in the opposite direction, finding a spinal twist. If you want a little more, you can look toward your right hand. Allow every exhale to pull that leg just a little bit further across the body. And then your next inhale will roll you back to center. Now stepping the right foot or the left foot to the ground, right next to the glute. You can cross the right leg over top and maybe stay there. Maybe press the knee away to open up the hip, or maybe lift that bottom leg, the left leg, reach for underneath the thigh, and come into our figure 4 stretch, reclined here. Keeping the top foot, the right foot, flexed to protect the knee. Maybe here's another space you want to find a little bit of a rock from side to side. We'll just keep that back massage going as long as we can. And we'll start to slowly transition to the other side. So now reaching the right leg long, left leg comes into the chest. Feeling that same sense of heaviness, grounding on the right leg, reaching the toes all the way to the end of the mat to straighten out the full leg. And pulling in as much as you can the left knee toward the chest while relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Let's start that ankle roll. Taking out toward the left, reversing to the right. And nice and slow, begin to pull the left leg across the body this time, reaching long toward the left with the left arm. And maybe looking toward your left hand if you want to deepen the twist into the cervical spine. Letting each exhale wind you just a little deeper. One more breath. And you can go ahead and unwind, stepping the right foot in this time to either press the left knee away, deepening the hip stretch, or bringing everything up and in by reaching underneath the right thigh, flexing the left foot, maybe adding the rock from side to side. Hello, hips. Allow the rock to slow here. And then we'll grab underneath both thighs and rock yourself right on up. We'll do just a little bit more massaging here. So plant the hands behind you, shift all your weight over on top of the hip, and find a little roll. Depending on if you are used to foam rolling or do this, or how hard your floor is, this might be a lot. So feel free to put the feet back down if it is feeling like not great. But get in there, like really roll around, massage out that muscle. Switching over now to the left hip. Try to get every single point of your hips touch the ground. If you find a spot you really like, maybe hold for a second. Hurts so good. Whew. Okay, and from here we're gonna stagger the legs. So the left leg will come in front, the right leg will tuck behind, just like this, and we'll sit back into a quad stretch. The key is to engage the right glute here, pressing forward so that you feel the stretch along the front of the leg. If you're there and you don't feel as much of a stretch as you'd like, you can walk your way back down onto the mat to lay. Just be sure to check in once you get down here. Is this really what my body wants from me today? If not, crawl it back up. Find the stretch that works for you and breathe. The most important thing is feeling the opening along the front hip flexor and the quad. Take one more breath wherever you're at. And then come on back up. Now from here, we'll stack this shin on top. So your right shin is kind of like two logs stacked on top of each other. Maybe that knee lifts quite a lot. That's okay. That's not ability. That's just anatomy. That's your body. So go ahead, and once you're there, walk yourself gently forward. So the right shin is stacked on top of the left, and you're really just like tiptoeing, tip fingering, question mark, as far as you can go until you take a nice big inhale and then exhale to really fold down. Drop the head, drop the chin, relax the eyes. Breathing here. This is like level 2 of opening up the hips, coming from the figure 4. And your next inhale will roll you up through the spine, nice and tall. And then we'll take a little bit of a twist here by grabbing onto the right knee with the left hand, reaching behind you. One inhale, one exhale to unwind, and sweep the right arm up and over so that you can kind of pull on this top knee here to open up the side body. It's not the way I meant to go, but it's still working. So if you're not feeling weighted enough, maybe press into this bottom foot, into this bottom knee. Whoops, that's all right. We'll come on up, shake out those legs, and switch to the other side. So this time, the right leg is bent in front, left leg bent beside you, and you can either shift it back, engaging the left glute forward to stretch the quad, or if you want a little more, lay it on down, check in, make sure this is still good for your body. You're still feeling the stretch only here, not feeling knee pain. You're engaging the left glute. You're breathing. Last breath. And walk yourself back up. Stack the shins, this time with the left shin on top, wherever that ends up. And begin to slowly walk yourself forward, reaching as long as you can until you can't walk any further forward. And then your exhale will round the spine, dropping the head, dropping the nose, the chin. Soften the gaze. Next inhale rolls you up, one vertebrae at a time. And now we'll twist the opposite way, so reaching the right hand to the left knee, taking the left hand behind just for a little bit of a height boost. And then as we unwind, we'll sweep the left arm over toward the right and open up the side body. Breathing into the left rib cage. Feeling nice and weighted in the legs, long in the upper body. And we'll come on up. So let's roll over the knees, however makes sense for you to do that. And come onto all fours. Bringing the hands right beneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide, and the knees beneath the hips with toes untucked. We'll move into a cat-cow movement of the spine. So your inhale will open the chest down to the ground, lift the tailbone, lift the chin, and the exhale sends everything in the opposite direction. Inhaling deep to press down. Exhaling to pull away from the ground, arching the back. Take that with your own pace of breath. Maybe exhale out the mouth if you're feeling a little heat building. Two more rounds. And then we'll come to a neutral spine. Tuck the toes and begin to straighten the legs, bringing the hips up to the ceiling for a downward facing dog. You can adjust the width to what feels right in your body, trying to get both your arms and legs as straight as possible, but you can keep a little bit of a micro bend in the knees. From here, maybe you want to pedal out, pressing opposite heels down toward the mat. Not letting those shoulders creep up towards your ears. Strong, broad back. And if you are bending the knees, start to walk forward. If you're not, also start to walk forward, nice and slow. Bringing the toes up toward the wrists until you get to the very top of the mat, where you can give a nice generous bend into the knees and just hang here. If you'd like, you can grab onto opposite elbows and take a swing from right to left. Letting go of the head, maybe with a few shakes, yes and no. Maybe something in between. And we're about to come into 3 rounds of similar movement that sort of moves up in, I don't want to say difficulty, because you can always adjust a pose to your level, your preferred level of difficulty. But it gets a little, the opportunity for stretch gets a little more intense every time. So just hang here. Take a few deep inhales and exhales into the lower back, into the upper back. Readying yourself to flow. Between each set, we're going to do what we're about to do, which is dropping the arms, rolling gently up the spine, one vertebrae at a time, up to standing. Chin is tucked into your chest until you're all the way at the top. When you reach the arms up overhead, inhale, and then the exhale will dive you back down towards your feet. And stay here just a second. I'm gonna let someone from the waiting room. Apologies. Okay, so we're here for round one. Let's take a nice long lunge, stepping the left leg back, right leg stays forward. We'll drop the back knee. Find your optimal length here. Take your time getting set up. You can keep the back toe tucked or untuck it, whatever feels good for you. And we'll walk the hands up, interlacing the fingers on top of the right thigh. If you feel good here, stay. If you want a little more, bring the right hand to the right hip and swing the left arm up and over toward the right, so you're opening up that side body again. Making sure to keep sinking into the lower hip. Just here for one more breath. Inhale to come back up and shift yourself back so that your hips press back toward the back of the mat, front foot flexes, front leg straightens. Here to stretch out the hamstring. If you want to move into the IT band as well, drop the head. Almost like you're making a cat spine here. And you'll feel the stretch move into the outer hip. Really flexing and straightening on the right leg. One more breath. Inhale will shift you back forward as you toe heel the foot out toward the very edge of the mat so that you can turn the knee out from here. You can kind of see it's leaning. If you'd like, you can stay lifted, or just for a few breaths, you can walk yourself down maybe onto your elbows. Maybe you grab that block and put it underneath your elbows if you need to lift the ground up toward you. We're here for 3 breaths. Focusing on pressing the hips, almost like someone's hand is right on the back of your tailbone, pressing down toward the mat, opening the hip flexor. Gently, if you walked down, come back up to a long spine. Begin to toe heel the foot back into the center, tuck the back toes, and we'll take a big step coming back up to the top of the mat. From here, we'll roll up nice and slow, really articulating through the spine. As the arms reach up for an inhale, and we dive back down, circling the arms out for the exhale as we step the right leg back this time for a left side lunge. Set yourself up, drop that back knee, toes either tucked or untucked. And once you're feeling solid, you can bring the interlaced hands, switching the interlacing, so the non-habitual way for you, to the top of that thigh. Feel free to stay here, pressing down into the thigh to lengthen the upper body, or bring the left hand to the hip and swing the right arm up and over for the side body stretch. Keeping the hips as even as possible here. 2 breaths. Inhale to come back up. Plant the hands and shift the hips back, straightening the left leg. Pulling the toes back toward the shins here. And if you want to move the stretch a little bit into the outer hip, round the back, drop the head. Cat spine. Keep breathing. Try not to hang on to any tension in your forehead and your jaw. Your next inhale will shift you back forward so that you can toe heel out to the side. Bring both arms inside the leg and either stay nice and long here in this lizard pose or choose to walk down to the elbows. Still keeping the spine long, keeping space in the chest, broad along the collarbone, and allowing that left foot to turn out as the right hip drops. One more breath. Come on back up. If you walked down, toe heeling that foot back in, tucking the back toes and taking that nice big step as we slowly roll up. Arms follow, reaching long above the head. Maybe a little arch in the back now before you dive back down. And we'll move into round two. Still starting with the lunge. The left leg will step back, right leg stays forward. This time we'll keep the knee lifted and open the right arm to twist. Reaching up to the ceiling. Maybe even leaning back a little further. Breathing. Broad on the back, the chest. Last inhale. And exhale to come back down. Your back leg will step in about 2 feet, maybe 1 foot, so that you can straighten out both of your legs here, keeping both of the hips in line. Inhaling to lengthen the spine. Exhaling to fold over the front leg. Just like always, you can keep a little bit of a micro bend here in your front leg. Protect that hamstring. There's no need to lock it out. You're getting just as much of a benefit with that little bit of bend. Let the top of the head point down to the floor. Steady your gaze. Maybe pick one spot to stare at. And the transition from here is a little funky. Bear with me. You're going to bend the back leg, so your left leg, and begin to twist, sitting down on top of yourself so that the right knee stacks on top of the left. We'll inhale from here, bringing arms up, and take a spinal twist toward the right. Your left elbow is pressing into the leg, deepening the twist. Not here for super long. Next exhale will unwind you slowly into a bit of a counter twist. And then you will unwind back into the lunge so that you can step up and roll slowly to stand. Arms coming up alongside the ears, reaching, maybe arching back, and diving forward on your exhale. From here, we'll step the right leg back, keeping the lunge nice and tall, and now twisting open toward the left side, left arm high. Right fingers spread nice and wide, pressing down into the mat, making space. Maybe look up toward the left hand. One more breath. Exhale to bring that hand back down, stepping the back leg in a bit, evening out the hips, and as much as possible, straightening out both legs before you inhale and exhale to fold. Breathe here. Feel the pull, feel the tension. Send your inhales anywhere that needs them. Maybe an exhale allows the upper body to fold just a bit further. As you begin to slowly twist yourself, this time toward the left, dropping the bottom leg, stacking the other on top, inhaling tall, and twisting toward the left. Using that elbow to find opposition here. Breathing, not gripping in the jaw. And gently, slowly exhale to unwind. Counter twist. And undo those pretzel legs, coming to a lunge. Stepping up to the top of the mat, rolling slowly to stand. Arms up, inhale. Lift the chest, maybe arch. And fold, diving over the legs. Last round here. We're taking the left leg back, Nice and long, dropping the knee. And either from here, you can choose to walk up and stay, or you can choose to bend the back leg, reaching up and around with the right arm, coming into a quad stretch. If this is feeling like everything's a little too close together, take that same toe heel out to the side, just to open up some space for your upper body here. The front leg can be turned out, back leg is kicking into the hand, chest is open. Breathe. So nice. And without letting it ricochet down to the ground, gently transition out to come back forward. And from here, we're just going to toe heel all the way over to the opposite side of the mat, maybe grabbing your block if you know you're going to need it, as we come down into our pigeon pose. So setting yourself up, really finding those hips are both pointing in the same direction, maybe tucking that pillow. We're gonna walk down and stay for about 30 seconds. So really set your lower body up in a place that's comfortable for you, in a place that feels supported. Flexing the front foot, taking a nice big inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale to walk yourself forward. Maybe making a pillow for the forehead with your palms. If you're here and the knee is unhappy, just bring that right heel back toward your left hip a little bit more. Maybe you're engaging the left glute to straighten the back leg. Or maybe you're just taking a rest. All valid. Relaxing shoulders, face, eyes. Just starting to slow down. Now from here, I'm going to offer one more option to step it up a little bit more. Bend the back leg so that you're bringing your heel toward your butt cheek, just like you did for the quad stretch. If you're feeling okay there, go ahead and walk yourself up. And maybe take that same reach back to grab onto the back leg. And you can pull the heel in, you can leave it out. You can try it and totally decide it's not for you and come back down. Just about 15 more seconds in whatever variation you choose. If you did lift the back leg, slowly let it go. Coming up with a nice long spine. Removing the block. Planting both hands in front of you, tucking the back toes, and lifting up into a downward facing dog from here. You can either stay here and breathe or lift the right leg, bend the heel to the butt cheek, and open up the hip toward the opposite side. Maybe circling the ankle. And plant that leg again. Take a deep breath. Exhale out the mouth. And we'll step forward with the left leg this time. Coming all the way into that lunge. Nice and long, finding length. Dropping the back knee. Bending the leg. And reaching up and around this time with the left arm. that you get the full twist as you're stretching your quad. Also the option to just stay here, bending the leg, testing it out. You can toe heel that left leg out if you want a little more space for the torso. 2 more breaths. See if you can find the moment of calm, even in something so stressful for the body. Know deep down that at any moment you can choose to release. Slowly bring the foot back down, the hand back around, and we'll start that nice and intentional transition into pigeon pose. Maybe taking your block, toe heeling all the way over to the opposite side of the mat, and settling in with the legs first. So reaching that right leg long behind you, just getting everything in order before you inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale to start to walk everything forward. Making adjustments as you need them. Making sure to breathe. Maybe close the eyes. You're welcome to stay right here, or you can start to take that option of adding in the quad stretch by walking yourself up, gently bending the leg, just seeing where things are at today. Doesn't matter if you can usually do this and feel good in your body. Check on it today before settling in. Reaching back with the left hand, opening the chest, keeping a bit of a lift in the belly to support the lower back, so not just letting the core let go. Two more breaths. And nice and easy, bring everything back down. Rolling up tall, tenting the fingertips to lift the spine. As you remove the block or pillow, press into the hands, tuck the back toes, and shift back into a downward facing dog. Again, you can stay here, or you can bend those the left heel to the left butt cheek and peel it open toward the right side. Maybe circling out the ankle. And stepping it back down, bringing the knees to the mat, nice and wide, and sitting yourself back into a hard-earned child's pose. Maybe taking your exhales out the mouth. Maybe dropping the elbows down to the mat, broadening all along the tops of the shoulders. Check in here with your breath, your body. Once more, we'll move into a side bend by walking both hands over toward the right, maybe off of the mat, dropping the head once more, and feeling the opening all along the left rib cage. Super slowly take that journey all the way to the other side of the mat, walking through center and reaching everything toward the left. Now walking back to center here, just allow the chest to sink between the thighs. Then to walk the hands back, keeping the gaze down toward the ground or even keeping the eyes closed. And either come to sit on your shins or another comfortable seat that feels more comfortable for you. You can rest the hands on the thighs, close the eyes if they're not already. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Call to mind from the beginning when you just laid down on the mat. What was it that your body needs? What was it that your mind needs? I hope you were able to find a bit of that here. But I also want you to take a moment, really think in a practical way how you can bring more of that into your every week. Whether it's scheduling something on your calendar, setting an alarm in your phone, how can you give a basic reminder from your body, from your brain, from your heart to just check in and make sure you're meeting your needs? I've always seen that as so important just because it's important. But there's a step 2, which is meeting your own needs so that you have the energy, the ability to meet the needs of your community in whatever small way you can. Step 1 is always self. But once you get the fulfillment of step 1, step 2 is what makes it really worth it. We will all close out here together with 3 deep breaths, letting go of all of your air. Breathe in through the nose and sigh out the mouth. Breathe in the nose. Exhale out. Maybe flutter the lips. One more time. And let go. Gently open the eyes, bringing the room back into focus. Maybe give yourself a little movement. Super slowly, just coming back to life. Thank you as always for coming out tonight. It is so great to see like a room full of both new and weekly returning faces. You are all so wonderful.